Welcome to SmartWatchTicks, a YouTube channel dedicated to smartwatches, and here's the situation. Holidays are coming. You know you want a smartwatch. You're out with your partner, you're at a place that you've heard has smartwatches, and your partner needs to run to the restroom. So you kind of narrowed your hunt down on the internet, and now you have some burning questions to ask. You only have 5 minutes or less before your partner's back, and you want to know which one you're going to ask for the holidays. You ready? Here we go. So you want to compare the Kingwear KW88 with the FINOW X5. All right, let's do it. In our overall review and taking a quick look, we got to get this done fast because we have full reviews on these watches up on the internet. But right now we want to look at the bands. Are the bands removable? No, on both of these watches. In fact, on any of the Android type watches, they have antennas in the bands. They're not removable. Well, okay, what kind of bands are they? What's the quality? The KW88 is a nice solid silicone band with holes and breathing air spaces inside, more of a sports design. The X5 is a leather band, and you can see I've worn that a bit. So it tends to wear over time and get a fixed pattern in it based on your arm. It's got the standard clasp. The bands are not replaceable, so you may just decide which of these you want if they're very similar in other respects by the bands alone. If not, then how about the buttons? The button, there's one of them on the KW88, and it basically lets you go back to your home. Usually we can go in something like settings and go into something like sound, turn up the media volume, for example. Now we hit the button, and it goes back one level and off. Turn it on, and we're back to the watch screen. The FINOW X5 has 3 buttons, the top, the middle, and the bottom one. The layout on this one is a bit different. We'll come into our apps, it's still booting and loading them. Go into something like settings. It appears sluggish, but that's only because it's starting up right now. It's really very fast. And I only have 5 minutes. So the bottom button, while I'm waiting on it, is an SOS button. You program this with phone numbers, and if you have a SIM card in it and you need to make an emergency call, you can press that button and hold it for a while, and it'll go into an emergency mode. That's the purpose of that button. This middle button brings you back and turns you off, and turns it back on again. And the top button functions much like the one we saw there, which just brings you back a level or 2. Let's go back into sound. And I don't know, volumes. We want to turn these volumes up so you can hear them later. And we say, okay, so that it lasts. And now back, back. This one's taking us back incrementally, and then you get to the watch face. So do you want 1 button, or do you want the 3 buttons? That's a question. Build quality. Well, I refer you to the review videos we've done on these, and there's some videos too where we've actually taken them apart, and you can look inside the watches at how well they're built. The build quality, in my estimation, is that the FINOW watches are more solid. It's metal, solid metal casing. It's a good quality build overall. The Kingwear is a plastic bottom. It's kind of I'm not even sure if it's a metal side. If it is, it's kind of a brushed aluminum maybe. The build quality of the electronics inside isn't quite up to the same standards as the FINOW, so I would suggest on build quality, if that's really a highly important thing, that you take a look at the FINOW line. SIM card installation and removal. This is if you're planning on using your watch as a standalone phone, and you might be swapping the SIM card in your phone to your watch and back and forth. The Kingwear watch has a really nice way of taking out one screw and putting the SIM card in here. Again, in video review of this watch, you can see that done. On the number 1 X5, you notice you have to take out 4 screws from the back, remove the whole back, be careful about the rubber grommet that goes around it, put the SIM card in, put it back, screw the screws back, each of which strip fairly easily. It's not something you want to do very often. That's a big difference between the two if you plan on using a SIM card in your watch that you're going to be swapping out regularly. The screens are very similar in size, which is why you're looking at comparing these two, right? They look almost identical, but I believe the Kingwear is slightly larger. They are the AMOLED kind. They got good brightness. There's another video we have up where we take a whole bunch of them out in the sunshine, and you can see that these two watches are the brightest ones going. So you're doing good with the screen size here and its brightness. While we're looking at screen overall, look at the bezel. You have a nice brushed aluminum dressy kind of look here. You have number layout around the bezel. This, of course, comes in black as well as silver and gold. This comes in black and silver. And so you have a different overall look to the screen, too. Speakers and sound, we just played a little bit of that. There's more in the reviews that we go into. Between the two, I'd say that the FINOW is possibly a little bit louder. The speaker is on the bottom here. It's actually on the side here. And again, play with that in the videos or listen to the part that we just did here. They both have heart rate monitors. They're the standard 2-eye thing. This has one laser diode and a sensor to receive it. So does this one. We call that kind of a first generation. We will be doing videos on the accuracy of heart rate monitors later, but right now we'll just let you know that they both have heart rate monitors, okay? And then camera. Well, here's a big difference. We have a camera on the KW88. We have no camera at all on the X5. So if you're looking for a watch that you can use to take pictures and your interest is in a large screen watch, the KW88 is your best bet. Now, how about charging and battery life? The KW88 uses a little magnetic coupler that just snaps on, and it goes to a straight USB connector. So you got to have this wire. If you damage or lose this wire, you're in a whole lot of trouble because that's the way you have to charge it for the Kingwear. For the number 1 X5, you actually have a dock. It's a thin little dock like this, and you have to line it up so that the pins connect, and you plug in a USB connector right here that then, of course, connects the other end to your charging source. So you have to make sure you don't lose, crack, break, step on, flush down the toilet, whatever the dock, or you're out of business in charging this watch. So both of them have a little bit of a need for an extra piece that you make sure you always have and maybe want to order an extra when you get the watch. That's a good stocking stuffer, right? That's charging. Battery life? Well, battery life is always a question, and there's no easy answer. So take a look at our YouTube channel, right? It's youtube.com/SmartWatchTicks, and look for the number 2 most asked questions about battery life, and you'll get an overview of what's involved with the battery and battery life. We don't have an estimation of which one is better yet. However, different owners of these watches are posting, and you, when you get one, are encouraged to post your results of your battery life with your watch. That will help others in deciding which one to buy based on battery life. A rule of thumb, more or less, you should at least get 1 day out of it if you're careful and be able to charge it every night. But you could get more, you could get less. That's the overview pretty much of the hardware. Oh, we only have 2 minutes left before she comes out. Oh dear. Okay, software, memory, RAM and ROM. These are misnomer terms, but basically RAM means the amount of memory that's in the watch to load your apps and run things, and ROM is where you store your music and pictures and things like that. And the configurations, of course, more is better. 1 and 8 is great. Half of that and 4 is not so good. And remember, then the memory in the RAM, you also have to have the operating system. So what about operating system? Well, this one's running Android 5.1, and this is running Android 4.4.2. Yeah, there you go. Everybody has their opinions on that. Faster, speedier performance, perhaps higher battery use. All that's still under evaluation. But that's a difference between these two watches. In performance testing, we have the Antutu tests. There's a great video that shows all the Antutu tests across all these different watches. Take a look at that if you want to know basic performance testing. In terms of phone tethering, neither of these watches does good in that category. These are pure Android watches. They don't tether well. You will not be able to make and receive phone calls from your watch using just a SIM card in your phone like you would with a tethering watch. You have to have a SIM card. So not good overall for phone tethering. The watch faces that you have available to you, by the way, when this one comes up, it just has that time representation. But then with the KW88, you can install one extra watch face. It's complicated. We have a video on that, but you can add designer-created faces, at least a face, to the standard default faces that come with it, of which there's quite a few. The FINOW, whole FINOW line, and especially the X5, as far as a large screen display, you can add a huge number of watch faces in here. Huge number of them, practically unlimited. And we have lots of videos that show you the different watch faces that you can download or even create yourself. So if you really like playing with watch faces, having a big variety, if that's a thing for you, this one has more than this one does, and that's watch faces. App layout. This is an issue with a round watch running Android apps, and the problem comes in when you have an app running and you have setting menu items that are off the screen if they're round like this. Things like Facebook or Pocket, the reading app, those kind of things. Well, in the KW88, all you have to do is press and hold like you're going to turn it off, and you have full or small. When it says small, it makes a little square. The app runs in the square, and you can get to the menu items. That is nice. In this one, that's not available yet. However, in a sister one to this one, the one-button Q3, there has been a modification in the settings that you can set to make the apps run in a square. So right now, this watch does not support that. Everything is in a circle, and apps that need you to touch the corners won't run well on this watch. However, that's subject to change, and change through just a firmware update, so you may be able to still use this hardware. It's coming. Maybe by the end of the holidays, it'll be a push update to here, and you'll be able to do the good app outlet. Any special features? Yeah, this one has a camera. This one has the SOS emergency button. They both have bands. They're different in quality and style. And that's about it as far as special features. This one's a little bit thicker overall, you can tell. And again, they come in different colors. Okay, she's almost back. Okay, decision-making time. How about price comparison? How about availability? And how about the overall look and feel? Check down in the show notes below this video. These watches come to us from sponsors, and those sponsors help us bring these here for your review. So we encourage you to buy, if at all possible, through the links that you'll see below. And we try and negotiate constantly a good price with the vendors, if not the best price going, so that you can click through, use a coupon, and purchase one of these watches directly from the notes here at SmartWatchTicks. In terms of overall look and feel, you just got to put it on. You just got to look at it. You just got to get the feel for it. Can you see yourself in this? Is that your watch? Or does your watch look more like this? Oh, okay, that's it. Time to go. You know what to do. Have a great holiday season. Thanks for watching SmartWatchTicks.